Right, okay, today I was just going to have a go at making like a stamp, like a rubber hand stamp. The material that I'm using is it's laserable rubber stamp, so if you're going to do it, just make sure it's laserable, the one you're getting. In Lightburn, I'm just going to do a round stamp with mine. I'm going to hold shift, drag out a circle, just let it go, and then up the top here with this locked, I'm going to make it 1.5, so it's 1.5 inches. And I'm going to offset it. I'll offset it outwards and just a tiny bit. Right, so now this is my cut line, so I'm going to want that on one layer, and then this inside line is going to be where the engraving starts, so I'm going to put this on a layer 2, and then my engraving, I'm just going to, my YouTube logo, which is this, so you can see it's huge, but I'll just left click it and right click it, and then say trace image. I know from previous it traces this pretty well, so I'm going to say OK. I'm going to delete this photo and then take this logo, shrink it down, just move it roughly up here. If your Lightburn don't look like this and you want it to, so that you can see, like this will show you when you're filling something, it fills it in. If you come up the top here to these cogs, like your settings, and then just make sure this is clicked, because normally you'd see just like that, and which when you preview it, it will show you correctly, but it's nice to see it before. So yeah, if you just click that one, it does say slower, so maybe, you know, if you have any problems, just turn it back off, but if not, I would leave that on, because then you can see exactly what's going to happen. It's going to fill this and not fill, you know, it just takes out anything it's not going to fill, makes things a bit easier. With stamps and what I've seen, like I haven't cut this or etched this material yet, so I'm not 100% sure. I was just going to start off with I'm going to put it up a little bit. I'll say a 300 speed and a 12 power. Air assist I'll turn off for now just because I'm etching. And what you want to do is on this advanced tab is add a ramp to give the edges some stability, so that, you know, it will ramp its way up to the edge. I'll turn it on and you'll be able to see what I mean. So I've turned that on. Okay, now I'm going to preview it. And if I turn this off, you can see that's normally how it would etch. But when you're using that ramp feature, if you click shade according to power, you see now when I zoom in, it's going to kind of ramp its way up. It's going to start dropping the power on this edge to make the edges come up at a taper, to kind of, otherwise if you have them going straight down, like, you know, corners can get knocked off, little pieces. If you've got that ramped edge, it's going to give you a little bit more stability. So from what I've seen, it's good to ramp the edges like that, so I'm going to leave that. Okay, the next thing you want to do is, like, normally invert it, but I have inverted this by putting the fill layer and then put this on top. You can see from the preview that it's already inverted, so it's not going to etch this part. Another very important thing is to mirror this, so just up the top here under the flip, just mirror it so it's in the opposite direction. And now this should be about right. Okay, so that's the stamp done, and I'm gonna carry it on from out there on the laser. Okay, I didn't do the cut yet. That's the first pass. I just wanted to see. It's not really enough depth. I can see it. I don't even see it on the camera. But I'm going to 400 speed now with a 20 power, and I put air assist on to hopefully help remove a bit more material. Okay, even at that speed and power, that's not removing a whole lot of material there. Okay, this is a 250 speed with a 25 power with low air assist. And 20 speed and the 60 power, it did make it through. I'm just going to give it a bit of a wipe off. But yeah, it's not removed a lot of material even at that. I think you definitely have to run it a few times, but hopefully you can see that on there. Okay, I've got just a simple wooden handle I'll put in there, so I'm going to cut that. Okay, what I was hoping here is there's the stamp. I was going to put the stamp, glue the stamp to this piece of wood. I could maybe glue it straight to that, but I didn't want these messing with the centre, so at least that's a nice flat surface. And then hopefully these should fit in together like this. And then I'll push that into there. Yeah, so once that's all glued together, now it's got a little handle. Okay, I don't know if you can see it on here, but with the ramp feature, the only thing you might want to watch out with if you don't want it is give me a little ramp around up to the outside edge, which is probably going to leave me with a circle around my stamp. But if you don't want that, you might want to, this outside line, when you put it on a different fill layer, and don't have the ramp on it if you don't want it, you know, to have a little edge on the outside. But I'll see how it goes for this, but I think it might look alright on this. But if you don't want that, just remember with that ramp, it's going to ramp up all the edges, including the outside. So yeah, I'm going to get a bit of some ink to dip this in and then test it out. Alright, well, I ain't got much ink here, but I'm going to give it a test. Actually, I might have to take a bit off first. It's quite gammy ink, isn't it? I'll push it a bit firmer. Yeah, and that's it, isn't it? Nice if you're doing if you're sending out, you know, some laser designs to people, just to make one up to put your own mark on the box, just to show. I mean, I'm sure if you use better ink, you'd probably get a better outcome. I'm gonna give this one a good push. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty clear. You can see exactly what it is.